Hey there, guys. So it is sort of early morning here, which I don't usually make videos, but I'm sat here outside a local cafe place. So I thought, why not give you a quick story? So one of the most important things in life is having a degree and having some sort of educational background. But for my case, I started school in Sweden, kindergarten, so primary, like nursery and stuff. And then after kindergarten, I remember I was there till class two. And then after that, moved to the UK here, to Leicester. And then I just picked up things from year four in Leicester. So I started primary school here again. And it took around a year to quickly, actually I'd say 2 years to learn the language. As you're, young, I'd say anyone under 10, any child under 10 is just so quick for them to pick up a new language. And then I went on to making friends in school. And then what I did was I applied for secondary school. And this was one of the craziest secondary schools at the time. Because this was around early 2000s, you know. And then after that, school was alright, I was always that class clown sort of guy, making people laugh. I was mischievous. I wasn't really into actual academical stuff, so of course I wanted to excel in that as well. So I took school not too serious, but at the same time I was willing to do the work and get the grades while simultaneously, making people laugh. Like I always felt like a comedian in a sort of way. And it came naturally to me. So school was really enjoyable for me, those 5 years, secondary school. And then I went on to college. College was also sort of a stomping ground for me where I actually got to learn a bit more about my curious nature. So I started doing things I shouldn't do, things like smoking. And from there on, it just led from one thing to another thing. So I literally just ventured out and started to chase my curiosity in a lot of the illicit things and stuff. Anyways, college was definitely something. And then after that, I applied for university. The university I applied for was DMU, and it was at the time one of the famous universities known for partying and stuff. I lived with my parents, so for me it was like I don't know how I'm going to go to these parties and take on the freshers life. First year of uni is just really exciting, even though I couldn't really engage in it and partake in it. I still managed to somewhat live half that life. So this is where the interesting part of the story is. So first year of uni, I was just focused in going gym, focused in trying to make a change. And then I did the first year, and then after that it was of course the second year. After the second year it was like I did computer science, I remember, back in university. And second year is where things were interesting. So it felt like a repeat of college to me. Second year university, I started to experiment more again. So sometimes you just have that feeling of being left out, and you just pick up some wild stuff. That's for me anyways. So I started to smoke again, and at this time I remember I smoked so much that I got sick and I was hospitalized. And this was like mid 2016ish. From there, I actually couldn't attend university like the way I should have and the way I'd like to. So what happened was I spent around, I'd say, 4 or 5 months in and out of hospital. And at this time I was worried about university and how I was going to continue. you know how it works. Basically, there's lectures and stuff, so you can miss one lecture, but if you keep doing that, they're going to either eject you from the whole course, or you'll have no idea exactly what you were doing when you return, and you're just going to end up either being kicked out or having to repeat the year in a way. So I remember I was, of course, having the cyclical vomiting syndrome, and it was taking its toll out on me, like mentally, spiritually. I was just completely shattered. And at this time, I had a gin as well. So I'll make another part to that gin story that happened at the same time. But I literally got all together around 4 or 5 months of just being completely knocked out from this cyclical vomiting syndrome, all caused by smoking and stuff. I then literally put myself together and I went back to university. But how it played out was not the way I was expecting it. What happened was I returned and I was, of course, due some assignments that I was sort of behind in. So I did those assignments and it wasn't, up to the standards to make it to the third year. So I was, not at the level that was required, so I had to repeat the year. And then after I repeated the year, I remember I had the same teacher, same sort of professor, you'd like to say. And I remember having the same assignment that I did on the previous year. How I just mentioned the year that I had to repeat. So I had to repeat the second year. So in my previous year, the first year of the second year, I had the same assignment. And I thought, for this assignment, I got around 80-something%, so it was actually a decent. And because I had the same teacher, same module, and same assignment, I thought, why not, I'm doing this assignment, right? So I look back on my old paper, you have to do Harvard referencing. So I read it quickly, and I took some parts out that were really important. It was around, I'd say, a paragraph worth. Took that paragraph and I actually Harvard referenced it. So bear in mind, it's my own work from the previous year where I failed but still did well in this assignment. So Harvard referenced it with my details, of course. And the teacher that I submitted it to was the same teacher that's, standing right in front of me again anyways. So I put the Harvard referencing down, same assignment, and I, of course, put more things this time around, so you can't completely copy if anything. So it's literally a paragraph. And then I ended up submitting that work, and the teacher decided to, not have it. And I was very surprising. I remember we got along very well. She was very nice, but she was very hard on me when it came to this assignment. I think it was law module of computer science. But anyways, she wasn't having it. She basically said, you can't do this, and she called me in for a sort of a disciplinary meeting. And after that meeting, it didn't go well for me. She and the head of computer science and another, can't remember his role, but it was 3 of them in the office, and in the meet they said, we're going to discontinue and we're going to eject you from the course, and you can't apply again for DMU for another 2 years. It took me by surprise and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And from there on, my attitude changed towards life. I felt like I was targeted, after going through all of these things. And, the last hurdle of the university it whacked me completely out of compass. So I now had to make a choice, whether that was to find something else to study or begin on another adventure. But anyways, that's how the university went for me, and it ended so quickly. It started so beautifully. I'd just like to, of course, share this with you lot, and I'll be doing a side story, as I said, with the whole gin situation on my second year, where everything was crumbling. It's very interesting. So anyways, it's about to end now, so take care, guys, and I'll give you lot another short story soon. Take care. Peace.